Before we do begin, yes, don't ever say that I, Simon Miller here at WhatCulture Wrestling, don't listen to you, because in the last couple of weeks, not only have we upped those downs for New Japan, but here we are about to up those downs for Impact Wrestling too. You see, I have ears, I hear ya, but now you gotta calm down and stop going so crazy. But yes, around about 12 or so hours ago, we did get Bound For Glory, which is one of Impact's biggest pay-per-views, but the question is, was it good or was it a pile of gubbins? One of the greatest words in the English dictionary. Now that I've said that, I'm not 100% sure it's actually in the dictionary. But let's not worry about that. Let's worry about the fop and let's up those downs. Let's give some love to Impact for coming up with an idea that was kind of fresh and kind of cool. I've never got a problem with any wrestling promotion doing that, even if they do try and it falls on its ass. Like that time that TNA had that concept where the idea was to get in the ring first. So we'd seen wrestling matches, we had to get Chuck out of a ring, and they went, let's reverse it and get people in the ring. Even so, forget about that, it was years ago, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Getting it up. I'm just going to throw all the participants at you to make it easier for both of us. Trust me, there was a lot of people in this. But we had Eddie Edwards, Joey Ryan, that was a surprise, Reno Scum, Rohit Raju, Cousin Jake, Havoc, Rosemary, Madman Fulton, Cody, Dina, Johnny Swigger, Jordine Grace, Kira Hogan, Raj Singh, Tommy Drever, Swoggle, Kylie Ray, who also turned up in Impact Wrestling, Fala Boss, Sabu, and Mahabali Shira. Everybody breathe. One of the biggest highlights was when the aforementioned Ryan came out at number 6 and the crowd absolutely lost their minds. I mean, as always, he was desperate for somebody to touch his penis, but nobody did touch his penis because they were smart and they knew what happened when you touched Joey Ryan's penis. And if you are keeping track, I just used the word penis 3 times in a sentence. His dong was too powerful though, because even though everybody was trying to avoid it, he was still able to eliminate Raju and Jake. So remember, if you're ever in the vicinity of one Joey Ryan, don't go near his dick. Things thinned out a lot when Madman Fulton got in there because he is big. And if you know wrestling, if somebody is big, they will be allowed to enter matches like this and just eliminate a bunch of people, which he did, including Joey Ryan. The fans weren't happy with that, but it did mean we were down to our final 4, which was Fulton, Shearer, Bar, and Eddie. And that was doubly impressive because Eddie had been in there since number 1 after he lost that Battle Royal on Impact. It didn't hurt him at all though, because after hitting the Boston knee party on Shearer, he got the 1, 2, 3, and now he's allowed to go after whichever championship he likes. And I tell you, this was just very entertaining, it was very enjoyable, and there were surprises in there. I mean, Swoggle, he made his return to the promotion, and we already touched upon Kylie Ray. It certainly seems like now she's gonna make Impact Wrestling her home, but who the hell knows. We then moved on to Tennille Dashwood going after Taya Valkyrie's Knockouts Championship, and of course she had John E. Bravo in her corner, the best named guy in all of professional wrestling. The end up. Taya is an asshole, so she jumped Tennille before this had even got going, until Dashwood was able to fight back because good will always prevail. Now there was some kind of weird, almost botched package pile driver attempt on the outside, but thankfully nobody died, and that's all that matters. And then of course eventually that dastardly Bravo started to get involved. He kept trying to pull a fast one, including at one point just dragging Taya over to the rope, and at that point the ref went, dude, mate, you can't do that, you gotta go to the back. But that just served as a distraction, because as the referee was looking in the other direction, Taya got a chain and she was gonna smack Tennille in the face with it. Thankfully Dashwood was able to reverse that, but instead of using the weapon, she chucked it out of the ring. And my word, you never do that in wrestling. If you have a weapon, use it to hit your opponent. Why? Because during all that fracas, Valkyrie was able to hit the road to Valhalla onto Dashwood and retain her championship. So sometimes doing the good thing is the wrong thing. And then, my friends, we got Hoopla up. It was the North defending their tag team titles against Willie Mack and Rich Strong, as well as Rhino and RVD. And somehow in 2019, all this situated around an ECW pair who were kicking ass in the late 90s. I mean, we even had a promo beforehand where Rhino and Rob Van Dam were like, we are not playing around, we are here to take things seriously. Before we get to that though, this absolutely rocked once it got going. I mean, Rich Swann was getting chucked around like a pack of cheese. Willie Mack busted out a 6-star frog splash, which annoyed RVD something fierce, and Ethan Page from the North. Basically, it was just great for the whole thing. It was like a move machine, including at one point military press slamming Rich Swann back into the ring and then hitting him with a senton bomb. This built up speed as we went and everybody started to get a taste, whatever the hell that means. And then it all went down because just as Rhino was going to set up for the Gore, which you would assume would have won him and his mate the tag team championships, Van Dam turned on his old pal and super kicked him right in the face. He then hit Mack and Swann for good measure before leaving, and not only did the fans absolutely despise him for doing this, but I can't remember the last time I saw RVD as a bad guy. In fact, when I think about it, he's always been so beloved. Even when he was playing heel, most people were like, yeah, but I want him to become like champion of the universe, so I'm going to cheer him anyway. Not the case now. The audience was pissed. It didn't stop the North though, who jumped on this, beat up Rich Swann, and got the 1-2-3 to retain their championships. But even then, when they were celebrating, all everybody wanted to do was boo RVD. This was a very well put together angle. I didn't see it coming, and I have no idea what to expect from a Rob Van Dam Rhino match in 2019, but sign me up, I'll watch the damn thing. Ace Austin was then backstage in a towel, telling Alicia Edwards that he was going to win the X Division Championship later, and bro, I'm pretty sure you could have done that, fully clothed. And then Michael Elgin and Marufuji decided that they would just have a video game wrestling match. Up. I mean, it was just move after move after move after move, like when you're playing WWE 2K whatever, and you just go through every single maneuver to see what did make it into the game and what didn't. I mean, at one point, Fuji was on the outside, and he was giving Elgin a sliced bread number 2 right onto the ring mat. It baby-faced him something fierce, so he threw Michael Elgin in the ring and gave him another one, and he got such a close near fall, I think everybody and their granddad bought it. That was the theme for the end of this too. Near falls aplenty, including an Elgin bomb, which Fuji kicked out at like 2.9999999. If this had been a real sport and you had the power to ask for a replay, you would have done it. And even then, the referees probably would have stood around going, I don't know, dude. That was so close. We were talking milliseconds. And that was the same for a Falcon Arrow and a Splash Mountain. It was so damn close. It meant the finish was quite something, even if deep down nobody in the crowd actually wanted to see Fuji lose. But he did after Elgin hit him with a reverse power slam. And I can only imagine that these two guys now are sleeping someone. They gave their all. They must be exhausted. This was pretty fun. The ups keep on coming as well, because I'll level with you, this was a pretty awesome show as we had our ladder match for the X Division title. It was Tessa Blanchard, Ace Austin, AC Romero, Jake Crist and Dega all going after it, and what they decided to do here was kill each other in the back, and they were like, well, what can we do this evening? What aren't other people doing? And clearly someone said, well, I don't think anybody's dying tonight, maybe we can go after that. So this was on the menu. It's getting up. The really cool thing about all of this is that it tied into a story that's been going on for months. Tessa Blanchard is somewhat of a rising star throughout Impact Wrestling, and we just don't know what her end point is going to be. And I know, I get it, this was an intergender match and some people don't like that, but hey, it's not like it wasn't featured or advertised beforehand, so if you didn't want to watch it, you didn't have to. If it is your cup of tea, great, drink it down, and if it's not, spit it back out and go have something else to sip on. After a cutter marathon to begin things, it didn't take too long before we were just smashing each other into ladders and also smashing each other through tables. And why does this always happen in the world of professional wrestling? If you sign up to have a ladder match, it must be in the contract. Oh, by the way, at one point, your back is also going to meet steel. I mean, at one point, AC was not only pushed off a ladder, but he crashed through a table as well, and then the ladder fell and smacked him in the head. He must be in agony, although he did tweet earlier that he's okay and that he is alive. Thank goodness. It was the ending that deserves all the applause though, because after Tessa Blanchard had gotten rid of all her opponents as if she was James Bond and they were nothing but henchmen, she started going after that championship, and it certainly looked like this was about to happen. And I wanted it, you wanted it, unborn children wanted it, basically everybody wanted it, but then it happened. Ace Austin appeared from nowhere, he jumped onto the ladder, he had that weird bat and stick thing he had, thwonk, he smashed Blanchard right in the head, she fell down and he stole the X Division title. That absolutely ruined the audience's lives because all they wanted to see was Tessa Blanchard get a damn title in Impact Wrestling, and now not only are they going to have to wait, but also Ace Austin is now one of the biggest heels in the damn company. That is how you boil two people up and ensure that when Tessa does get her due, it's gonna feel even better than it would have done here. As long as she does get her revenge soon, and I mean very soon. You can't just keep going lose, because then the crowd will get annoyed, but so far, there's a 2 thumbs up. Which wasn't really the case when it came to the Moose versus Ken Shamrock. And I know expectations were high, and I love Ken Shamrock, I really do. I have such fond memories of him back in the Attitude Era, but we gotta be honest, it just didn't really work. Down. Frank Trigg was in Moose's corner, so naturally he was always going to get involved again, as always. But I don't think that would have mattered because Shamrock seemed intent on ending his life on this evening. At one point, he did a dive over the top rope, and I dread to think what would have happened if Moose wasn't in the right position, because he was going to land right on his head. But again, thank you, Moose, for basically saving Ken Shamrock's life. From here, it was just too much shenanigans, really, and I understand why there had to be shenanigans in this. They kind of just got in the way. So Trigg was holding onto Ken Shamrock's foot, which allowed Moose to boot Shamrock right in the balls. And when Ken finally got the ankle lock onto Moose, he booted him in the balls again because he dragged the ref in to break the submission attempt up. Now, why that wasn't a disqualification, I don't know, but it's wrestling. There is no such thing as an official rulebook. You just make it up as you go along. The two then teased the Rock Shamrock chair shot from around about 1998, and I did not want to see that, because it was kind of bad enough back then, and thankfully they didn't do it, and the finish just had more silliness. Earlier on in the match, Trigg had exposed the turnbuckle, so when Shamrock went for what I think was the 67,000th, 244th attempt at the ankle lock, instead Moose pushed him into the exposed steel, gave him the no jackhammer needed, and beat the former wrestling and MMA legend. I was about to say clean in the middle. It was not clean in the middle. It was the dirtiest in the middle I'd ever seen. We need another word in there. It was just a screw job. And like I say, this wasn't bad. It was just a little bit over the top, and I feel like it would have benefited from a less is more approach. That's not what we did. Main event time now, as it was Brian Cage defending his world championship against Sami Callihan. And if you know about my relationship with Sami Callihan, it should come as no surprise when I say Sami Callihan, you get it down. Because you just do. Breaks my entire system. I don't care. I will whoop your ass. The match itself, though, that is getting it up. Now, I don't think I was ready for the amount of violence that was going to be in this, but that is more for me because earlier on in the show we had been told that this was going to be a no DQ bout. So no disqualification. Sami Callihan, what the hell was I thinking? It's not like that didn't make sense given that earlier on in this story, Sami had tried to basically destroy Melissa Santos, so rightfully so Brian Cage would be mad. Which is why, after Cage had beaten up on Sami for a little bit, Callihan just spat right in his face. That sent Brian Cage crazy, and he just bit him. Because why wouldn't you? Cage then hit Sami so hard with a lariat, I think it busted him open. Because our world champion had walked to the ring, dressed as Wolverine, he went and got one of his claws, and he started scraping at Callihan's forehead. I mean, if you are weak at the stomach, don't go watch this. Before long, a chair was also being used, which Cage straight up no-sold, and instead he picked up Sami and power-bombed him into the ring post. I mean, this had a lot of energy, and it had your eyes like that the whole time going, what are they going to do now? Well, the answer was a pile driver from Sami Callihan onto Brian Cage, but beneath them was the guardrail, and they hit it so hard, the guardrail broke in two. You know what the fans chatted after that? That was murder, and I think they were right. I mean, they weren't because Brian Cage didn't die, but attempted murder, you bet your ass. The amount of carnage that followed was absolutely brutal, including Sami doing another pile driver onto Brian Cage's poor head, but on the mat was a bunch of thumbtacks. And do you know what happened when Callihan went to pin Cage? Brian kicked out at one, and he lost his damn mind. He hit a powerbomb on Sami Callihan, and then hit the drill claw also onto these thumbtacks, and he was able to retain his world title. He then celebrated with Melissa Santos afterwards, and this was just a really damn good way to finish what was a really damn good pay-per-view. I mean, it was absolutely nuts, do not get me wrong. This was other worlds of crazy, but I kind of feel like Impact has found their niche now, and they are running with it. If you do want to add another wrestling show to your weekly calendar, and I know it's hard, you could do a lot worse than this. If you want to get on point, go watch Bound For Glory. I think it may surprise some of it, especially if you kind of still associated Impact with the old TNA. They are so far removed from that. Some of the best stuff you can see. I said it. So when we talk about the show overall, of course it gets an up. Honestly, there was only one bad match on this, and that's only because they tried to over-gimmick it and they ran it into the ground. But even then, it is cool to see Ken Shamrock back in a wrestling ring. It's Ken Shamrock, and if you're old like me, you remember him. He was so intense, and he was so ragey. He also still looks damn good for a man who I believe to be in his 50s. Just nuts. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Bound For Glory. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon for WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching, and do we have a packed week of ups and downs for you. Tomorrow, Tuesday, ups and downs for Raw. Wednesday, we'll do AEW Dark. Thursday, we'll do AEW Dynamite. Saturday, we will do Friday Night SmackDown. Then I have to lay down and sleep, because that is a lot of up and downing, and my brain will break. I'll see you when I see you.